Can lads land spread across the arena. That is the first jumper away. As you can see, he has entered freefall and he would have been reaching speeds of up to 80 and 110 miles an hour before shortly deploying his parachute. That should be all of the jumpers away now, shortly deploying the parachutes one after the other. The lowest guy should be Corporal Nathan Connolly, and he is actually on a Sabre 2 canopy. This canopy can reach speeds of up to 40 miles an hour, so you should see him land very quickly. Also up there today, we have 3 new jumpers to this display year. As you see on the left side of the arena, we have our first parachutist coming into his landing pattern. Like I said, they'll land from left to right today, getting as close as they can to you guys. If you look just above the arena, you can see our 5,000 square foot Union Jack flag. We're always very proud to fly this flag, and this is actually one of the largest flags you can fly into a demo. Please guys, when every guy lands, please give a massive round of applause. As you can see by the flag today, we have Large Corporal Ian Kane. He'll be working extra hard up there to get the photos and videos we need for our various websites. Please, ladies and gentlemen, coming into land now is Corporal Stephen Hanley. Next up, we have Sergeant Dean Walton. If you look just by the Union Jack flag, we have our canopy formations team. Today they are performing a by-hand for you. They're also flying the Parachute Regiment flag, which we always have the honour of flying. Coming into land on the right side of the arena, we have Corporal Nathan Conley. Please, ladies and gentlemen, when Corporal Mike French comes into land with that flag, you will see the sheer size of it. Please, a massive round of applause. On the left side of the arena, we have our canopy formations team. They would have been working extremely hard up there to pull that formation off. Shortly, they shall cut away and go into their own landing patterns. As you can see, Mike French is working very hard to land that flag. A massive round of applause. Our canopy formations team.
Off into the air in very little. There was increased interest on the close support aircraft able to support the troops on the ground. In the early 1960s, it led to a tri-service requirement between the US Air Force, US Marine Corps and US Army, and it was a very rigorous requirement indeed. The aircraft had to be twin crew, it had to be able to be very manoeuvrable, capable of withstanding between +8 and -3G. It had not just fast jet attack aircraft, but also the Douglas AC-47 spooky gunship variants of the Dakota, and by ground artillery. They provided post-strike damage assessment. They escorted the C-123 provider transports engaged in the branch hand defoliation missions. This was an outstanding airplane. Here you see the Bronco and the Bronco demo team. this pass, as the wings are rocked, you can see "Lest We Forget" painted on the Bronco's upper wing surfaces. This is a reference to the current centenary events around the First World War. This aircraft today based at Kortrijk-Wevelgem in Belgium, and it wears that marking and also poppies painted on the aircraft as a special scheme for 2017. That's the Bronco demo team's theme for this year, to honour the centenary of the main battles in Flanders, the area in which this aircraft is today based. Undercarriage down now. The aircraft won't be landing off this. It's got another display to do at Durham Tees Valley today. An aircraft that remains relevant in today's combat theatres. Two upgraded Broncos have been evaluated for a light-armed warplane task in Afghanistan. No procurement resulted, but the aircraft did redeploy to Afghanistan last year and performed excellently against the so-called Islamic State. So there we have the X.
So Ryan now take the aircraft back towards the ground. You'll get a good look at the underside of the aircraft as he carries out an on-crowd loop. Approximately 600 kilograms of fuel per minute. So in the first 3 maneuvers, he's actually burnt a metric ton of fuel.
Here comes Kieran.
Negative 3G in the cockpit, which means all of that blood was rushing to his head. Very, very uncomfortable for the pilot. The G seats only protect against positive G. So all of that, he was straining his body muscles to stop the blood from flowing up in his head. So as Ryan breaks out of that, he will slow the aircraft down to around about 100 miles an hour as he sets up for a slow speed pass.
And of course, in all of this, Glenn, the fly-by-wire control system helping him enormously.
Yes, absolutely. The Typhoon is an unstable aircraft, and without the help of the onboard computers, it simply wouldn't be able to fly. It's not like the old mechanical linkages that we used to have in very, very stable aircraft. The computers do an awful lot of work for the pilot, so all he has to concentrate on is flying there. So Ryan now comes head on to the crowd and will drop the undercarriage and will now carry out a dirty loop. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the 2017 Royal Air Force Typhoon display. If you would like to come and know more about the Typhoon, please come and visit us on our PR trailer. The lads there will be more than happy to speak to you.
Wingwalkers smoke their way into the air, smoking out the VIP enclosure.
Yes, I'm told that smoke was actually
Exactly. Well, here we have the world's premier formation wingwalking team. It's only formation wingwalking team, operated for many years by an If you can make them out through their own smoke, here they come in for the first pass.
If you put your arm out of the car window when it's going anything above 30, it's quite, it requires effort, doesn't it? The speed this is going, or these aircraft are going, and then to do these kind of acrobatics, you do need not only courage, but you need strength, core strength as well.
Absolutely, and no wonder when you read the biographies of the girls on the wing, that these great and this is the display where you're under negative G on the top there.
And unless my eyes deceive me, they were upside down.
Yes, they just swiveled back upright again as they went up there. Experiencing minus 4G at the top of very memorable displays there, and now I think the girls are doing some even more fabulous contortions atop the wings.
Can you watch?
So this really is safe, but you still need lots of courage to get up there and do this. I wouldn't do this.
In towards us for a break. It was in the 1980s when Dick Norman, the team's founder, decided to set up this team because he saw the steerman as being the ideal act. He'd seen one performing in Wingwalking. Two aircraft in towards each other, crossing at the Dayton. There we go. Down they go, building up speed, building up energy. Pulling up as they approach the Dayton for synchronized rolls. Fancy doing it yourself? Then there's your chance. Now you'll see that they have actually started to dismount from the rigs on top of the aircraft and are sitting still, safely tethered to the front wing. They call this the cockpit lady. To show your appreciation to the pilots, Dave Barrell and Martin Carrington, and to the wingwalkers, Gina Marshall and Katie Hobbs. That was the 2017 Breitling Wingwalkers. An idea of the extent of the sacrifice of US airmen serving in these parts, the bomber and the little friend in formation. Here on this part you can see the bomb doors of the comparatively small bomb bay in comparison with the likes of the Avro Lancaster open. 9 of them in all, different turrets. Now, only one of these aircraft is still flying in Europe, and it's this one based here at IWM Duxford. And the efforts of B-17 Charitable Trust and the membership of the Sally B Supporters Club have been a hugely significant part in keeping it airworthy, and the aircraft's final pass with smoke on to represent 2 damaged engines of a B-17 coming back from a mission having been shot up is, as always, dedicated to the 6,500 members around the world of the Sally B Supporters Club. This is for you. display this afternoon, Andrew Vixen. He's the chief pilot of B-17 Preservation. We've seen him fly various vintage aircraft here over the years, B-25 Mitchell, C-47 Skytrain, and the same goes for Dutchman Peter Kouders. Today's co-pilot. They'll be swapping roles tomorrow. Peter is a KLM long-haul captain and a man who, like Andrew, has a great feel for multi-engine warbirds. So they're touching down with thanks to its operator, Ellie Sallingbow from B-17 Preservation. Boeing B-17G Flying Fortress Sally B. Duxford wouldn't be Duxford without it. Busy programme of It was also 75 years ago this year, a little later in 1942 than the B-17 came into service, that the then boss of the Air Fighting Development Unit at RAF Duxford suggested to the Rolls-Royce chief test pilot Ronald Harker that he might like to test fly one of the new North American Mustangs that the unit had here on evaluation. At that time, P-51 was engined with the B-1710. And you can see why when you look at the Mustang and the Thunderbolt together. But he said they soon grew to love the Mustang. Not for nothing is this aircraft as indelibly associated with the history of this airfield as the Hurricane and the Spitfire, along with the P-47. This one, two-seat TF-51D trainer variant, was built post-war. This one saw active service during the Korean War because Mustangs were still of much use in the Korean theatre between 1950 and 53. This one served with a US Air Force reconnaissance unit. Restoration. It first came to the UK in 2007 for operation by the Fighter Collection. Last year it was sold to a new operator, now lives here again, operated by Air Leasing. Mustang Ace Frankfurt Seal. Alongside two Mark 1A Spitfires, which will be as it stands, the last item on the programme, unless we are able to get the Great War Team into the air to close the show. P-51 touching down on the hard runway. And there it is, and many, many thanks. And there, in contrast, the Apache rolling for takeoff, and they're lifting to go off to hold, while we enjoy the extraordinary gyrations of Peter Troy Davies with his Rotorsport Catalina. Juan de la Fierra was the Spanish-born historical pioneer of the Autogyro during the 1920s. The aim was to produce a type of aeroplane that couldn't stall. And it was Fierra who thought up the name Autogyro, and indeed initially used it as a trade name. It was gyrocopter, gyroplane, other terms that are associated with some of these aircraft. But they became, before the advent of the practical helicopter, the first rotary-wing aircraft that were able to fly successfully under safe control. And that's all down to the principle of auto-rotation. The spin-up mechanism that helps it get off in such a short distance from the ground was actually patented by the great pioneer other than Juan de la Sierra of the Autogyro, late and much missed Sir Ken Wallace. And it's actually 50 years ago this year, remarkably, since Ken flew one of his Wallace Autogyros in the making of the James Bond film You Only Live Twice. Well, the one we see here, the Rotorsport Catalina, is a very much more modern and more civilised variant. It's with no problem, up to 40 knots in fact, Peter says. And it means that when pointing into wind, his ground speed can go back to virtually zero. Here he is spiralling down. A very impressive smoke generator, adding further to the spectacle of his display, which is sponsored once again by Air Total, the fuel company, and he has a new sponsor for the 2017 season in the form of Bose, the headset manufacturer. This Catalina has got a 150 horsepower. For the private owner, there are many advantages of the Autogyro compared with the helicopter. It's a lot cheaper to buy and a lot cheaper to operate as well. Maintenance is much simpler, and there's also a safety aspect as Peter Troy Davies gyrates down the crowd line, because should the engine powering the propeller, as here on the Catalina at the rear of the fuselage, should that engine stop, then you simply land fairly normally. You just make a controlled descent, your landing roll can be somewhere. He's also flown a wide variety of fixed-wing aircraft, including microlights, various far more powerful flying machines.
Helicopter display team, I'd like to welcome you to today's display with the British Army Apache. As introduced by men, my name is Captain Dave Steer, and I'll be talking you through today's show. The attack helicopter display team is made up of operational crews from the attack helicopter.
Simulated. Firing.
From the direct fire profile, delivering a successful rocket strike. Trim reacts dynamically to avoid any ground fire, here conducting a 270-degree wing over. With a further enemy vehicle sighted, the pilot once again will use a 180-degree return to target wing over to rapidly reset back towards flight to future enemy action. Concluding the tactical demonstration, Major Trainer will now position the aircraft for a short routine to display the Apache's impressive range of maneuverability. Establishing at the high hover at 800 feet, Jim will initiate with cyclic stick to pitch the aircraft to 90 degrees nose down
balancing with pedal before performing a banking twist to recover at 200 feet. As the aircraft approaches 120 knots, or approximately 140 miles per hour, Jim can once again convert the energy and momentum into a 90 degrees nose-up climb. As the aircraft reaches zero airspeed, you can use the Apache's powerful tail rotor to rotate the aircraft, pivoting about its centre through 180 degrees. This manoeuvre is known as the pedal turn. You may want cameras at the ready as the aircraft returns to crowd centre for a close-up look at the 360-degree wing over. Entering the manoeuvre at 200 feet and 120 knots, the aircraft is pitched to 60 degrees nose up and 90 degrees angled back. Combining our cyclic and pedal inputs, as well as monitoring the power required, the 10-ton helicopter can be flown back over its right shoulder through 360 degrees. A hard left 360-degree flaring turn will be used to wash off excess speed, allowing the arrival to 100-foot hover to demonstrate the low airspeed handling capability. Both the rockets and missiles can engage targets out to ranges of 8 kilometers, while the powerful M230 30mm cannon mounted underneath the fuselage can fire high explosive rounds out to beyond 4 kilometers with a cyclic rate of 625 rounds per minute. As you watch Gunship perform sideways laterals, you can see the Apache's impressive hover performance and a representative operational weight. Above the main rotor disc, you'll notice the distinctive shape of the aircraft's fire control radar. The radar is able to scan out to 8 kilometers, detecting over 1,000 targets, prioritizing them, and offering the pilot 16 simultaneous firing solutions through the aircraft's weapons processors. Along with target detection and missile guidance, demonstrates also power of the 2 turbomecha engines mounted either side of the fuselage. Each engine provides over 2,300 shaft horsepower, meaning together they produce more power than 4 Formula 1 racing cars. Reset for the signature finale of the Apache display, we'd like to ask you to put your hands together and thank our partners at Event Horizon for providing today's fantastic pyrotechnic effects. Put your hands together to show your appreciation for their efforts today. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2017 Attack Helicopter Display Team. I'd just like to remind you that you can visit us on social media for more team news and information on
collectively have over. Oh, and here they come! Ladies and gentlemen, the 2017 Blades Display Team. Collectively, the team have over 30,000 flying hours. And here we go. They're going to reformate now into a card formation with blades 1 and 4 at the front and blades 2 and 3 on the outer side. Pulling up into the vertical for the champagne fountain. Watch very carefully as you see blades 1 and 4 before stall turns and blades 2 and 3 before pushovers. In the blade 1 position we have Ben Murphy, who's also the team leader. Blade 2 is Andy Evans, blade 3 is Kirsty Murphy, and blade 4 is Mark Cumnall. Now the team are going to head directly for us now at full speed. Each cockpit will experience up to 8G. If you have cameras, get ready to use them. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Crossfire break. So Blade 2, Andy Evans. This is a new routine for him. He actually flew in blades losing speed and eventually falling backwards through their own smoke. And and that is the curvy tail slide. And here we go with Blade 4, our solo pilot. Now going along the crowd line into the launcher vac, which is a Czech name for headache or hangover. You can probably see why. Now Blade 4, Mark Cutmore will be back a little bit later on with the A1300 through a sequence of Twinkle Rolls. Now the ailerons span the length of the wing, meaning that the pilots can rotate their aircraft 420 degrees in less than a second. Corkscrewing over the smoker blades, and Aerobites is the title sponsor. This year the team are supporting the benevolent individuals, some close formation flying and some fantastic manoeuvres, then please do get in touch. Now approaching from the left, blades 1, 2, 3 and 4. You can see Blade 4 now inverted as he flies along the crowd line. This is one of our most popular manoeuvres. It's called Crazy. Top of the loop, and this is called the snake. And in the second half, we're going to twin knife slides. On Twitter, @TheBladesTeam and Instagram. Please do share them. The team absolutely loves seeing all your photographs from the display. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please give a round of applause to the Blades. And thank you so much.
The Jet Provost is the red and white aircraft. In the lead, the Strike Master, the grey one, following behind. Entering service with the Central Flying School. And several of the RAF's flying training schools. From the 1980s, the late 1980s, the type began to be replaced by the turboprop. An offshoot of the Jet Provost, but the Strike Master was developed, the aircraft that's number 2 in this duo. A light attack aircraft designed for use by countries that weren't able to afford to buy or operate more expensive, bespoke, complex frontline types. The airframe was strengthened and armoured. It's still flying out. This one built in 1986. near Chester by North Wales Military Aviation Services, a company that offers jet conversion training and has significant stocks of Strikemaster spares, provides maintenance and other services, as well as operating this one on the display circuit. Soon be joined by their CEO, Strikemaster. Jet now bought it in September 2007. He had it refurbished by North Wales Military Aviation Services. Flying on the Jet Provost. This U2GT. Strike Masters, but here, Strike Master and JP this year. Ollie's a Tornado pilot. He's also flown the Tornado occasionally in Petrie, a former RAF fighter pilot, notably on the Tornado F3. Today he's an airline captain. Concluding then the show. And that's followed by two examples of the possible new gull. Of the other very famous racing new gulls. For indeed, that was the aircraft's purpose. That was rebuilt in the mid-1930s for a new owner, Charles Gardner. Which, in Gardner's hands, won the 1937 King's Cup. Yes, not least by the continued preservation in airworthy condition by the shuttle collection of this new gull. And so, pulling up and away, the DH-88 Comet, Grosvenor House. The McRobertson race, AXS, the white one here, was sold to Alex Hitchner. In 1937 he competed regularly against the other new gulls in the remaining pre-war years, and there was a very friendly rivalry that developed between Henshaw and Charles Gardner, the owner of Red New Gull GAEKL, the one represented by the Red Rabbit, that was 236 miles an hour, that wasn't beaten for more than 30 years, and when it was beaten, it was by a P-51 Mustang, flown by Charles Masefield. And then with further modifications to the airframe, came that momentous British record for gain from winning the McRobertson race would outweigh the effort and the expense. By mid-February 1934, orders for 3 Comets had been first was bought by James and Amy Mollison, Eddie Johnson as was and would be again, another by the Australian racing driver Bernard Rubin, and the third from Arthur Edwards, the managing director of London's Grosvenor House Hotel. What de Havilland came up with was a bespoke design, highly streamlined, with, as we can see here, a very small frontal area. For Scott, it was the first twin-engined aircraft he'd ever flown. Classic. Flying past overhead in the form of the Dragonfly as the Comet rolls out. This is the first time it's landed away for a display of its day. Designed for the top end of the private owner market. First flight 1935, and there was an emerging period adverts that they have in place for the Dragonfly said own your own airliner. And they described it as being for private ownership, executive travels, air charters, training for twin-engine flying, aerial survey, light traffic airlines, freighting and medical services. When introduced in 1936, following it off from the aircraft restoration company, de Havilland Canada DH2 Viva. Went missing. Right, all metal fuselage structure made of steel tubing. Wooden wings with a fabric skin, a large cargo door for easy loading, high wing configuration, and importantly it could fly on floats, wheels, or skis. In fact, the first prototype could break on water. But when hostilities began, the Royal Canadian Air Force showed some interest. Initial usage of impressed ex-civil examples led to orders for many more. Aerobatic team. 2 Pitts S1D specials, 2 very accomplished pilots, and a display that for those of us with long memories of air shows takes us back to some great aerobatic teams of the past that flew the pits. There was the Washington team, there was the Marlborough team, there were the Royal Jordanian Falcons, and now we have the Trig Aerobatic team, sponsored by Trig Avionics. Going away for us to a break on the B-axis, a crossing break, and they'll be joining up once again via a crossover. It's in there for the opposition pass. Compared with many of today's unlimited. Smoke on as they run in for a loop. Up and round, pulling through. Very nice chance to the extremely attractive colour scheme on these aircraft as they pull up to our left for synchronized stall turns. Airspeed washing off. Round they go with the rudder. And a quick rejoin for a barrel roll. A manoeuvre so named because it looks like they're tracing their way around the inside of an imaginary barrel in the sky. At either end of the display line, going through his name is a half-Cuban manoeuvre. And crossing over and uncomfortably doing negative G. top and pulling through. Up for a half Cuban. Pulling up as if to loop, but rolling off the top. Back in the other direction. And then slow rolls. Both pulling up, pushing over more negative G at the top, and rejoining. Quite apart from the sponsorship they carry. Various events. They took the aircraft over to Friedrichshafen in Germany for the big Aero General Aviation show earlier this year for that reason. And here it goes, the hugely distinctive shape of the consolidated PBY-5A Catalina. One of the shorter takeoffs of the day, and almost staying in ground effect. The length of Duxford tray, and it was a Canso, as they were known, that looked like maybe stage of the Royal Navy fleet in the Indian Ocean. With the RAF, the Catalina was crucial in bridging the so-called U-boat gap in the Atlantic, an area in which German submarines were able to roam almost at will, supported by the menace of the Focke-Wulf FW-200 Condor long-range maritime aircraft. And Colin, it was of course an area out of range of existing land planes, which is why a flying boat was so useful there.
Absolutely, you mentioned the gap in the Atlantic, as very often happens in wartime. Courage and skill, not what you know, the technology has to move on, and the things that made the difference as far as the Battle of the Atlantic are concerned were actually radar and the Catalina flying boat, because U-boats spent most of their time on the surface, and they may be a long way away from the convoys, and therefore out of sight. If you had radar, you could see them on the surface, and the Catalinas actually accounted for a lot of U-boats on the surface. So it was a very, very important part of the Battle of the Atlantic.
And talking of spotting vessels on the surface, of course, they were playing a major role in the finding of the Bismarck.
Sorry, my microphone is being a bit temperamental now.
This Catalina, an OA-10A operated by the 5th Emergency Rescue Squadron of the US Army Air Force from Halesworth in Suffolk. The Army Air Force had wanted to get hold of Catalinas to operate on rescue duties from Britain around the European theatre for quite some time, but they weren't available until very late in the war. The one that this one depicts was involved in an incredible sortie. It was on the 30th of March 1945. It was trying to pick up the pilot of a downed P-51 Mustang and landed on the water. When they tried to get off again over Europe, they're getting away this year, it's going to display in Norway in a couple of weeks' time. Norway in 2015. The expedition to Greenland in 2015, undertaken by students from Duxford College, which was quite an undertaking, but here in for what I'm sure will be a very short landing from plain sailing, the consolidated PBY-5A Catalina, flown today by former Royal Air Force Hercules and Andover transport pilot Derek Head, And with him, and keeping the nose remarkably high down to walking pace, with him on the flight deck today was Gareth Bliss. Beautifully demonstrated. An aircraft that made its post-restoration debut in civilian hands here at Duxford in May 2001. It hasn't been back since. Here it is now, the de Havilland Sea Vixen, FAW2. September 1951. The Royal RAF and Royal initially wanted an upgraded Sea Venom. And the Navy resumed its interest. The first operational squadron was 892 Squadron, July 1959. That we see here was a considerable improvement on that. Integration of the red top missile afforded more flexibility in making missile attacks when compared to the fire streak that the aircraft had previously carried. The Sea Vixen in its day in the Cold War period was a good bomber destroyer, but arguably still a bit outmoded compared to other fighters of the era, and the bomb aiming equipment arguably not ideal for its secondary ground attack role either. A few years ago I spoke to Jonathan Whaley about this. Jonathan, you may remember, used to fly that fabulously coloured Hawker Hunter Misdemeanor at Duxford and many other venues, along with other aircraft. He flew Sea Vixens operationally with the Fleet Air Arm. He said the primary role would have been to attack incoming bombers day or night in any weather. From that point of view, the bad aircraft, given a good weapon system, it would have been up to the job. If Jonathan said the bombers were coming in cloud, a red top missile wouldn't have picked them up. We needed a radar guided or a better heat-seeking weapon, which we didn't have. Nonetheless, it was a fabulous aeroplane. One very unusual and to some degree unpopular for those who were seated in this position aspect of the design. The two-crew layout, with the observer sitting in what was known as the coal hole beneath the pilot in the right-hand side of the nose. Sea Vixens were involved in many carrier-borne operations with the Royal Navy. They never went properly to war. Amongst other things, they patrolled around Iraq and Kuwait in 1961 after Iraq, not for the last time, had threatened Kuwait, flying off HMS Victorious. They made air-to-ground strikes, providing support to British forces against rebels in the Radfan area of Yemen. Now here, you see the Sea Vixen with wheels, and I expect to rest hook down for a 360-degree orbit at Proud Centre. HMS Victorious during the confrontation between Indonesia and Malaysia, and at least once one of these aircraft intercepted a Tupolev Tu-16 Badger bomber of the Indonesian Air Force. But the end was soon nigh. 899 Naval Air Squadron, in whose markings this aircraft appears, conducted the last Sea Vixen cruise aboard HMS Eagle in 1971-72 around Australia and the Far East, during which time it covered the withdrawal of British forces from Persian Gulf bases. It wasn't just the Sea Vixen era that was ending in that period. 899 Squadron, the last to disband on the Sea Vixen in 1972, and this one, the last airworthy survivor, carries proudly the winged fist emblem of 899 on its tail fins. It was built in 1963 by de Havilland's factory at Harden in Chester. It was one of just 29 new-build Mark II Sea Vixens. The others were all converted Mark Is. It only served with 899 variously at Yeovilton and embarked aboard HMS Eagle. It later was converted into a pilotless target drone. Since 2014, it's been in the hands of Naval Aviation Limited, the operating arm of the Fly Navy Heritage Trust, the organisation that preserves the heritage of British naval aircraft in airworthy condition. It acts as an aerial ambassador for the Trust, which now operates under the Navy Wings brand, with both the Sea Vixen and the Sea Fury T20 as its own aircraft. It supports those, including the Swordfish of the Royal Navy Historic Flight. It has other aircraft under its wing. And roaring.
Oh, there she goes.
Today of Captain Jean-Guillaume Martinez, an instructor of Escadron de Transformation Metal 34 Aquitaine, based at Saint-Dizier in eastern France. That's the French Air Force's Rafale conversion unit. Between aerobatic manoeuvres, all the power of the twin Stigma M88 afterburning turbofan engines. showing off this very attractive special colour scheme for the 2017 display season. And out of this, Marty will be heading to a manoeuvre called the square dance. First to take the type into operational service, followed by the Air Force. The Armée de l'Air and Rafales have seen much combat action in all the theatres in which French forces have been engaged since the mid-2000s. As now we see the Rafale at the slow, pulling through. There was a very interesting opportunity of late for the French Rafale pilots to engage in exercising with other examples of the current generation of multi-role fighters. Referred to as an omni-role fighter, air-to-air, air-to-ground reconnaissance, all within its sphere of capabilities, and quite brilliantly shown.
Toad. Toad.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 1
in Mielec, SB Lim 2. One needs to remember that at that time, 1947, the Cold War hostilities that were later to develop between the West and the USSR had not fully broken out. One might take the start of the Berlin airlift in 1948, following the Soviet blockade of that city as the starting point. Service entry with the Soviet Air Force took place in 1949. The following year came along the Employed, and the first aerial victory was scored against a rather unlikely opponent in the form of a nationalist B-38 Lightning. It was the Korean War, 1950 to 53, that this aircraft won its spurs. Soviet and Chinese pilots flew them as well as North Koreans. A very effective tactic was developed whereby the MiG-15s were planes of altitude aircraft, so very occasionally found themselves on the other end of the MiG-15's guns. In 1953, an Avro Lincoln engaged in a training sortie down the air corridors linking the Federal Republic of Germany to Berlin. Straight outside the corridors, it was under license by Avia in Czechoslovakia. As here by WSK Mielec in Poland, and by Shenyang in China. So in over the threshold to touchdown, the Norwegian Air Force Historical Squadron, MiG-15 UTI, which will be living at Duxford this display season. Between its commitments, Kenneth Åkvisla, the boss and founder of the Historical Squadron, at the controls and flying as usual.
prototypes as diverse as the Edgeley Optica, the Pitts Special and the Airbus A380. The DVD of the Air Festival is 16 nice pieces of packing. As you order, collect your free DVD as I've just described at Planes TV store by the Turn of the Monarch Airline, or visit the website at planestv.com.
Thank you, Collins, to takeoff. Last off, it's the Fokker DR1s, the Tideckers, the triplanes. The counterpart into the air. So they're wrangling off to something across the grass, as much to wind as possible for takeoff.
Officialdom didn't much like the name PUP being applied to this aircraft, so inevitably it stuck. Fighter wasn't a term in use at the time. Scout was the preferred nomenclature. This was thus dubbed a single-seat biplane Scout. It of course has, as I said, a rotary engine, thus with the cylinders and crankcase rotating around the crankshaft. It was a light and simple aircraft to build and maintain with a wooden fabric-covered airframe, and you may notice as it flies past the clear cutout in the top wing above the pilot to afford him a better upward field of view. Armament came in the form of a single Vickers machine gun mounted on the fuselage decking in front of the pilot, firing through the propeller with the aid of the interrupter gear. Some were also tested with a single Lewis gun above the upper wing, and Leprieux rockets could be carried to combat Zeppelins. The initial order for PUPs was placed by the Royal Naval Air Service. The newly formed No. 8 Naval Squadron, the famed Naval 8, was the first operational unit to see combat with the PUP from October 1916. From the outset, it was very successful. The first kill by Naval 8 on the PUP was scored by Flight Sub-Lieutenant Galbraith. His opponent, a Roland of the Imperial German Air Service, on the 9th of November 1916. By the end of the year, they'd scored 20 enemy aircraft shot down over the Somme sector, operating first from Saint-Paul and then Vergalon. The Royal Flying Corps used the PUP from December 1916, and they discovered its excellent attributes, just as had the Royal Naval Air Service.
So imagine now you're standing in a British second-line trench somewhere in the Somme sector of northern France, looking eastwards towards the British front line, towards the German trenches. On the horizon comes a large group of aircraft diving towards the trenches. In front, we've got a pair of Royal Aircraft Factory SE-5As turning in what was known as the Circle of Joy. The Junkers CL-1s going off in the other direction, and below them we have the Royal Aircraft Factory B-2C, just lower aircraft, going out to our right. Off to the left, in fact we've got the Fokker triplane off to the right, my apologies, chasing down the B-2C. B-2C then pursued by one of the two Fokkers, and it looks like the B-2 has taken a hit, as has the Sopwith triplane with the other Fokker on its tail. The first B-2 was built by the Royal Aircraft Factory in 1912 and used primarily for artillery observation as well as military reconnaissance, like bombing duties, patrol work, night fighter missions against Zeppelins and so forth. It's the B-2 that's smoking out to our left. The Fokker on its tail, the Sopwith triplane now closer to us with the other Fokker on its tail. The Sopwith triplane, single-seat fighter with a .303-inch Vickers machine gun. It was first flown in May 1916. The following summer, it entered service with the Royal Naval Air Service, and it was immediately successful. Its rates of climb and turn better than its enemy contemporaries.
Triplanes started to be replaced by the more famous Sopwith Camel in the summer of 1917, but the famous Black Flight, number 10 Naval Squadron, scored 87 German kills in 3 months with its Tripe Hounds, as the type was known. The replica we have here depicts the first prototype triplane, as was used on loan to number 1 Naval Squadron in France from 1960. Now, on the tail of the Sopwith, we have one of the 2 Junkers CL-1s, the Germans' most effective ground attack aircraft of the late World War I period. One of those on the tail of the BE-2. It looks like the pilots of the BE-2 and the Sopwith didn't see them. They've been quickly attacked by these CL-1s. That attack first flown in December 1917. It was based on a previous design, the J-8, but had a longer fuselage to accommodate the rear gunner. Corresponding tail fins were built up around the time of the armistice, 3 of which were float planes. These were both completed by the late John Day from Bowers Flybaby Light Aircraft. 2 Fokker triplanes at a patrol overhead, BE-2C with a CL-1 on its tail from the left, Sopwith triplane and the other CL-1 on its tail crossing them from the right. And up above, the 2 Fokker triplanes trying to get a bead on the pair of Royal Aircraft Factory SE-5As, which obviously haven't seen what's happening now. They have. They split asunder. They're diving down to try and attack the Junkers. You can hear the sound of the machine guns from where you're standing, perhaps 150 yards away. The SE-5A, SE standing for Scout Experimental, was used during the war by 21 British or Empire squadrons, 2 American units, and a host of famous aces, including the likes of Albert Moore, Vic Merrick, James McCubbin, and Billy Bishop through them. More than 5,000 SE-5s were built. It was a good performer at all altitudes. It was faster than its German rivals. It had an excellent rate of climb. It was strong and agile. And there we see them, on the tails now of the 2 CL-1s. The SE-5 going away to our left is in the markings of the 25th Aero Squadron, part of the US Expeditionary Force, which flew SE-5As with the RAF. Fleet of aircraft engaged in close-in tail chases. Today we talk with aircraft like the Typhoon and the Rafale that we've seen of beyond visual range combat. It was nothing like that in the Great War. It was multiple aircraft circling, climbing, diving, jockeying for position, each trying to get onto their opponent's tails. It was as close to hand-to-hand combat as aerial combat has perhaps ever got. They largely have used the rudder in those primitive aircraft to make their turns and get into the best shooting position possible. Up above, the BE-2C receiving the attentions of one of the Fokker triplanes, as the CL-1s are both now very much in the sights of the SE-5As. And off to our right, we have Sopwith and Fokker triplanes engaged. The BE-2 now up above with a Fokker triplane in behind it, was an extremely slow aeroplane, made it a good stable platform for reconnaissance work, less good as a fighter. But now, out to the right, the Fokker triplane first flown in July 100 years ago. It was developed in significant part as a result of the excellent performance of the Sopwith triplane when it first appeared. The main attribute of the Tridecker, as the DR-1 was known, was that it was superbly agile in the turns and it was slower than its allied adversaries. You don't need me to tell you who the most famous exponent of the triplane was, Manfred von Richthofen, the Red Baron. There was also Werner Voss in that bracket, as one of the other leading German aces of the war. They were replaced by the end of hostilities by the Fokker D7 biplane. As here, Sopwith and Fokker fly past, then we've got SE-5A and CL-1 in behind them. Of the 2 triplanes, the one with the red and white fuselage marking, the aircraft at Duxford, Shuffle Fighter Squadron 6, flown by the Sopwith Sopwith triplane hasn't managed to shake off its Fokker counterpart, and still the BE-2C is smoking at the hands of the other Fokker. They're coming in from the right. The Sopwith desperately trying to get away, but that Fokker right on its tail. The BE-2C simply unable to get away from the other triplane. But now the Fokker has got the BE-2 getting in behind it, turning a bit too tight inside. However, it looks like he's managing to get away from the BE-2 as fire goes up all the time from the trenches. Sopwith taking another hit, but proving remarkably durable in this combat with the DR1, then SE5A and CL1, the other CL1 and the other SE5A up and to the left, the BE-2 ponderous up there. But not proving easy meat for that Fokker, even though it seems to have spent the whole combat on its tail. Visibility out of the front of the triplane designs definitely not their forte. And the trench dwellers far from asleep, as proved by all the flak bursts and explosions.